Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we're talking about the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets Game 4, which is about to start up at 12:30 Pacific time, obviously 3:30 Eastern. Excuse me. So, okay, the Denver Nuggets have their back against the wall. They're down 0-3, and they're having issues in a lot of areas. A lot of areas, defensively, offensively, both sides of the floor. There have been some issues. Now, in the last game, it really just came down to a few details, as the coach said. I listened to Draymond Green's podcast that he made after the game, which I think is the future of press conferences. Some of the best basketball content in the world right there. I encourage everybody to go check out Draymond Green's reaction to the Game 3. He literally sat down after he had finished running around, after he showered, and gave us content. And I took a lot of the pointers that I'm about to say right now from that content, because nothing better to get it from the player themselves. So I encourage all players to do that. Maybe it's not for everybody to have their own voice. Maybe you might say the wrong thing. Not everybody, but if you're up for it, I think that's the way to go. For those, especially those who don't want to talk in the press conferences, get a little setup in your own house. Talk to us after the game for about 5 minutes. Answer whatever questions you want to answer. Tell us what you want us to know. I guarantee you, your fans will be there. So, yeah, that's something I want to say. Kudos to him. Also, Nikola Jokic is going to have to continue to shoot three ball. He had not done that in the first two games very much, but he did find his three ball in the third game. And Draymond mentioned how he had to overplay that three on the end of the game. We mentioned it, where Jokic had given him a pump fake, and he overplayed the three. It was because you have to respect that three. If Jokic hadn't hit that three several times, as I said in the previous video, he said it too, he wouldn't have played him that way. So Jokic needs to continue to be aggressive from behind the arc at home. If he has any shot of winning this game or this series, or any games in this series, obviously right now he needs to. That three-point shot needs to be in his arsenal, and it needs to be something that they are afraid of him shooting at all times. As long as he's not shooting the three and only taking his shots on the inside and then looking to pass, he doesn't have as much space to pass because he's not stretching the floor out himself. He's 7 foot, whatever it is. He can see over the defense. The further out he's able to survey everything, the more space he'll have to make those passes. Now, granted, cross-court passes, stuff like that, I would never, ever say that he should be catching the ball at the logo and dribbling up like a point guard. But what I am saying is, as long as he's a threat to be a scorer from behind the arc, he can hover back there and will have more of a surveillance of what he needs to do. I don't think he works as well in terms of passing the ball from the block as he does from other areas on the floor, just because of how tall he is and how well he passes from certain angles. It's going to be on Bones Highland, Monte Morris, other players on that team, obviously Boogie Cousins. They're going to have to step their game up even further if they're going to have any shot at extending this series. The Golden State Warriors, fortunately for the Denver Nuggets, are dealing with some injuries, including Draymond Green, who kind of twisted his ankle at the end of that game. He didn't mention it was bothering him at all, so I'd imagine that's going to be something he's going to just play through. And, of course, we know about Jordan Poole injured his elbow. They had to put some heating on that elbow. And listening to Reggie Miller, he was encouraged by the fact that it was heating instead of being iced. Because if it were ice, we're looking at something much more serious, according to him. So I'm going to just assume that the heating is a thing, that maybe can encourage us to see him tonight, and maybe he can give it a go. But if the Golden State Warriors have to sit him, I'm darn sure that the Splash Brothers will be wide awake, healthy, and ready to go. Klay Thompson went for 26 in the last game. Steph Curry, I believe, went for 26 in the last game. And Jordan Poole, I believe, went for 27 or something like that. Two of them had 26, one of them had 27. If you're getting that type of production from the Splash Brothers and a pool party, believe you me, you're going home. Simple as that. Nobody's beating the Golden State Warriors when they shoot like that. And to expect them to shoot like that is probably what you should, because they are who they are. So one thing that we want to also mention is there was a big offensive rebound that Andrew Wiggins was able to get. I think it was in the, I don't know where that rebound took place. I'm honestly just piggybacking off of somebody else who highlighted it, Draymond and a few other pundits as well, watching commentary from the game. And it was 3 Nugget players that he was able to steal that offensive rebound from. Unacceptable. You got your back against the wall, or you're down 0-2 in that situation. You're at home. It's down the stretch of the basketball game, and you can't keep Wiggins off the boards. 3 blue jerseys down there and around the ball. The Nuggets have to want it more. That kind of stuff that ain't got nothing to do with Porter being out, ain't got nothing to do with Murray being out, ain't got nothing to do with your defense. That has to do with you just wanting the ball more than the other team, understanding the circumstances, and playing playoff basketball. The Nuggets got to do a better job of that tonight, or they're going home. So that's where we're at. I mean, obviously, the Nuggets have the door cracked open a little bit if they can take advantage of the fact that the Golden State Warriors are a bit hobbled right now, even though those players are going to play through that. Less than 100 Draymond Green in altitude against Jokic isn't a good thing. And he mentioned how the altitude was affecting him. I mentioned it as well many times. Anytime you're playing against Utah or Denver, you just got to deal with the fact that altitude is going to affect those bigs. And I felt that would be the case with these bigs here. And to hear Draymond say that just once again solidifies that. And when you watch the Lakers many years as I did, you know what it is when you go to those two teams. You had Shaq, you knew he wasn't going to play as well in those games. And if he was going to play well, he probably didn't get off to a great start. So, a lot of memories of that. And so, altitude. That's still a thing tonight. Pay very close attention. The Denver Nuggets will be fired up. Their fans, I'm sure, are looking forward to extending this series. I picked them to win it, to lose in 5. Golden State in 5. So I'm definitely going to stick with that. I think the Nuggets can get the game tonight, but I also think they can very easily lose. This is going to be a close game, in my opinion. I don't think anybody's going to blow anybody out tonight. Nikola Jokic is a proud MVP and could get an MVP this year as well. The issue is just simply him not having those killer scores that he has. That should be back next year if they can have no setbacks on their health. So I like the Denver Nuggets going forward. I do think they need to retweak a little bit, try to make themselves more defensive in some areas, maybe give themselves a bit more talent on their bench just a little bit. But I like what they have if they're fully healthy. That's why they're so solid without those two players. If you really consider, how many teams do you know in these playoffs can remove their two best players and still have a decent shot to win games in these playoffs? I don't think there's too many that are there right now. So you got to give the Nuggets credit. You can't imagine how good they would look if they were getting 30 from Porter and 30 from Murray every night on top of all that they've got going on here. Hell, they probably would be just as good, if not better, than Golden State without Wiseman. So then that's the thing. They don't have Wiseman. So I do believe the Golden State Warriors are susceptible to being a bit vulnerable in the paint a little bit. Kevon Looney is solid. You can give Jonathan Kuminga minutes, and you never know. He might, do some great things. Obviously, he's a lottery pick. Having played in the Ignite last year, I know he can do some good things. I think they should give him a shot tonight if he's healthy to go. Especially with Draymond potentially being hobbled. I think it would be a very smart idea for the Golden State Warriors. Yep, 3-0-3. Give Moody and give Kuminga some minutes in this game just to get them some fresh playoff experience. I encourage everybody to do that. I'm saying that in just about every video. I think all teams should do that. I think when you assume that you're just going to make the playoffs every year, or you neglect to realize that you have an opportunity to raise the value of your players, I think that the opportunity is just something that should not be left on the board. So I'm saying that in just about every video. Play people that don't play very often. You'll raise their trade value. You could trade them for better stuff in the offseason. So that's that. Let's see. There's some other things. Bones Highland's going to have to play more efficient. He's going to have to score the ball even more. Monte Morris the Nuggets are so much better when Monte Morris is very much active, hitting his mid-range jumper, getting to the line. Monte Morris is a very talented player. And like a lot of really, really effective players in these playoffs, he loves to play the mid-range, as I said. You got to let a guy like that get a couple looks in a series like this. They're not really looking for him. If he goes off and has 26, the Nuggets will win. They will win, The Nuggets will win. So you just got to trust players, give them those opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. Aaron Gordon had a very good game in this last game. I want to make sure I mention that. He hit a big 3, played some good defense. I didn't give him his credit. I hadn't paid him as much attention, but he was a very much a part of what the Nuggets were able to do to keep that game close and give themselves a shot that ultimately they weren't able to take advantage of. He's going to have to continue to play well if they're going to have a shot in this game. Keep doing what you're doing, hit the big shots, play the defense, get the boards, and momentum plays. Aaron Gordon is somebody that I think I don't know where he is right now in terms of where he's at in conditioning and all that. He's some years later, but he can still ignite a crowd. He can still lift off and dunk on somebody real good and put momentum into the Nuggets uniform. I think it would be great to see some type of play like that from the Nuggets tonight. You just want to see them ignite that crowd. You playing for your life tonight, so it should be a whole lot of physicality from the Denver Nuggets. I expect Boogie to be a monster tonight. With the minutes given, and a monster doesn't mean old Boogie, but good version of today's Boogie is what I'm saying. That's going to be something they need from him. Will Barton, obviously, if you could have a big Will Barton game, that's obviously a big deal for the Nuggets at all times. And I want to hear his number called more tonight. You're playing for your playoff life. You got all in Boogie's face. You was ready to knock him out. Take that energy and pour it into the Golden State Warriors to get yourself a victory tonight. I believe in Will Barton. He's a two-way player that can do just about everything. And he knows this system better than anybody because he's been there the longest of anybody. I'm pretty sure he's the longest tenured Nugget right now. So he's very important. Austin Rivers is a very important player in the series as well. He's played some solid minutes. He's a role player. We know that, but he's getting a lot of minutes in the series, and he's doing a lot of good things with those minutes. So if the Nuggets are going to play well, him having a big game will help with that as well. He's a big playoff type of guy. He's fiery, doesn't mind having enemies, doesn't mind getting physical, doesn't mind screaming at refs. This is somebody I want to see ignite his team. I don't expect Austin Rivers to roll over tonight. I would sooner expect him to go 0 for 5, 0 for 6 than to go without attempting a shot or something like that. This is somebody who should be very much loud in a closeout situation with his back against the wall. I just expect him to be spirited tonight. And that's that. The Nuggets have pride, man. They got some proud players on that team. Even the Bones Highland youngster is a proud player. They all know what they're about. Mike Malone is a tough, hard-nosed coach, even though I haven't been entirely impressed with everything that's going on with them this season. Ultimately, I know for a fact that Denver Nuggets have it in them to get at least one game against a Jordan Poole-less, possibly Draymond Green-less kind of situation. Now, I do expect those two players to play. They were not on the injury report. But again, if they're not 100%, the Nuggets should try to exploit that somehow. If they're going to play hurt players, you got to attack those hurt players. Jokic needs to be aggressive. Taking it to Draymond tonight. Draymond told all of us. He told us all, which is something that he's going to have to guard against, to be honest with you. I love the content, but you got to be careful not to give the opponent the information that you're trying to give to people like myself. And you did. You told us that you were bothered by the altitude. You told everybody that Denver altitude bothered you. And I don't think that's something you should have said until the series was over. Because now, you tell me that, I'm throwing every big person I got at you. You are going to have a long night, especially since I know that ankle's messed up. Draymond, I'm giving you a long night, brother. So hopefully Mike Malone ain't thinking like that, but trust you me, I'm putting my best ball handlers on you. They're going to be trying to shake you. They're going to be putting you in situations where you have to move laterally because I know that ankle is messed up, and I know you're dealing with that altitude. You can't give the people too much info, Draymond Green. So that's what I got to say about that. But I love the content, man. I love it. I really do. I'm very happy you did that. It's just not good for your strategy. So that's what I got to say, man. I expect them to rough him up tonight. I expect Jordan Poole not to have the same sweet stroke because that elbow is going to be affected. But don't be surprised if he does, because he is Jordan Poole, and we know for a fact he's one of the best purette scoring, shooting young players in the game. We know that. There's no question about that. His mechanics are some of the most beautiful mechanics in basketball right now. The dude is just, he is poetry in motion, and him being hobbled does affect this Golden State Warriors team some. But they have players. I'm telling you. There's a guy by the name of Moses Moody that they got in the lottery. He doesn't get any playing time. If for some reason Jordan Poole can't play, or for some reason Jordan Poole isn't himself, Moses Moody is the type of guy who you can call his number, and he'll play well because he has a lot of talent. And he shoots the ball. So I'm personally a big fan of his. I know the minutes are scarce because there's only so many players they can play. But Golden State can withstand injury better than most. And Moses Moody and Kuminga and GP2 are why. GP2 had 3 threes in the first quarter of the last game. That is not to be poo-pooed at or shook off or nothing. He is not a three-point shooter. So if he's giving them that type of production from the arc, stretching the floor like that, the Golden State Warriors are very much a difficult team to guard against. So the Nuggets got multiple things they need to guard against tonight in a closeout situation with their lives on the line. There will be no Game 5 if they don't win Game 4. And the most important thing for them to do at this point is to take advantage of the injuries that are on the other side of the floor. You got your home court. That means you got your altitude. Take advantage of that. Be a threat shooting the ball, Jokic, and get the production from the other Nuggets that are necessary. Somebody's going to have to play very, very well every game for the rest of the series for the Nuggets in order to win. It can't just be the conventional guys. You're going to need your Austin Rivers. You're going to need your Bones Highlands. You are going to need your Monte Morrises to step up and have the games of their lives each and every night. At least one of them has to have the big game every night, or this series has no shot of getting past today. So that game starts 12:30 once again, 3:30 Eastern. I'm going to get you the other two game reactions as well, or previews, I should say. And, of course, after the games, I will do my best to try to break down every one of those as well, time permitting. So, my name is BDO44. I thank you all for watching. Enjoy the game. Peace.